Tomorrow is Eid. What is normally done on the day of the Eid?
Well, from the point of view of the Quran says, "Wal tukmilul iddah." You should complete the days of fasting, and after the completion, then wal tukabbirullaha ala ma hadakum. Then you should offer gratitude to Allah for having guided you and seen you through the month, the 30 days or 29 days of fasting. So tomorrow, essentially, what is expected, that Muslims are expected to go out in the morning, have their meal, because fasting will terminate today, at the end of today. So have their meal, adorn the best of their dresses, their garments, and also they should file out to have the congregational prayer, which is 2 genuflections of rakas of prayers at the designated places. While leaving home, they are to chant the glorification of God, avoid vain talks, and also when they get there, offer the 2 genuflections, then listen to the sermon of the Imam, which will encapsulate all that has been, all the virtues that you have imbibed throughout Ramadan. And after that, you are to feast. But what is called the principle in Islam of feasting is moderation. The Quran says you should kulu washirabu, you should eat and you drink, wala tusrifu. Do not engage in excess of extravagance, because Allah does not love those who show excessiveness or extravagance in the way they do things. So it's moderation, and people should not say, okay, now we are left with Ramadan now. So those who have boycotted the beer parlors, they should not go back there. Yes, they should remember that the God who watches over them while in Ramadan is still that God. Ramadan is going, but Allah remains, and all the duties of religion should be kept.
Indeed.
But I was going to ask. That in terms of the celebration of Ramadan, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, with the terror alerts that is ongoing now, what will be the message to the clerics? Because the government is saying more people, or let me put it another way, the government is saying that those who are constituting themselves into terror upon the land, they're not ghosts, they're not spirits, they're human beings, they live amongst us. What will be the message to different communities that are being terrorized in terms of looking out for one another, especially during this festive period?
Well, I believe that the Malams, the Muslim scholars, have been preaching, appealing to those who are terrorizing to stop it. Because there is a verse in the Holy Quran which says, whoever kills a soul is like he has destroyed a whole nation. That is the punishment Allah will give to that person. And whoever saves a soul is like he has saved a whole nation. So for anybody terrorizing, the Muslim scholars are preaching to them. And even during this time, we will still encourage our scholars to continue to re-emphasize that terrorizing is not good in the sight of Almighty Allah, because that soul is given to us by Allah, and Allah does not permit anybody to take it. So we are appealing to the generality of Nigerians, and more importantly our Muslim scholars, to enlighten our people the more that they should not terrorize. Prophet Muhammad was quoted to have said, La dorara wa la dirara. Do not inconvenience others and don't allow anybody to inconvenience you. Which means all of us, we have to be very watchful. You see something that can bring hardship to you, inconvenience, you have to cry out. Give Allah to other people who can arrest the situation immediately. And do not even do it to other people. That is the preaching of Islam, according to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay, maybe you may want to...
The message that Muslims should be peacemakers.
This is in closing. Islam
is peace, and Muslims should live within their neighborhood in peace. And government should also do whatever they need to do. Because some people, their minds are sealed up. Perhaps preaching may not even reach them. Those who are, who are bent on fomenting trouble, government should know how to pick them out. their sponsors should be fished out. But for those, because the preaching that we do is meant for those minds that are receptive to preaching. But for those people who are ardent, who are bent on even terrorizing people who are preparing to go to Eid tomorrow, in some towns in Nigeria today, it might be very difficult to persuade people to come out. People go to churches now and they find it difficult to close eyes while praying. And even if you have to go to Friday prayer, sometimes you have to ask yourself, do I have to go? It means that these times are not quite, the signs are there that people asked to be dealt with. Those who are fomenting trouble should be dealt with by government. Government has the apparatus of coerciveness to do that. And for those of us, those of us who are Muslims, we must be peacemakers. The Malams, the teachers of religion must moderate what they say. They must moderate their views, and we must preach peace, tolerance, accommodation, forgiveness, kindness. These are the lessons of Ramadan and should be carried over to the next 11 months before we'll we'll welcome Ramadan once again.
Thank you.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. Thank you very much for coming. Islam means peace. It is a religion of peace, and this is something that we must all understand, whether we are Muslims or Christians or traditional religionists, whatever we are. We should not do what we don't want done to us. Simple. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I suppose that Eid al-Fitr will be in order.
By the grace of God,
Even
inshallah.
though you are still fasting until
The end of the
tonight.
sunset.
Tonight.
It's a sunset, yes.
Okay. We have been chatting with Mustafa Adebello, who's the National Assistant General Secretary of NASFAT, as well as Fadlu Rahman Tijani, Chief Missioner, Alfatil Quareeb Muslim Organization of Nigeria.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
coming.
much.
Sunrise will return in just a moment with yet another very interesting topic. Don't go away.